guess, create the narrative of why, right? Why this medicine, and how is it?
Hey beautiful people, so you know how I went to Canada and I've been giving you videos and footage from it. One of the missions I was on was to come and talk to Yarrow, and he has a channel on YouTube, Herbal Jedi. You know how in my smoke blends I'm also using herbals, right? And you love the synergy of them and that entourage effect. And that's got me going off into the botanical world. And we're gonna talk about some of the botanicals and how they stack and blend. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Awesome, I'm super excited. Nice to meet you all. I am a fun guy hanging out with this fun gal, and don't be spore losers. You stick around for the video.
Oh my God.
Well, thanks for having me on your channel. What do you want to chat about?
So we have a smoke blend, and it's got blue lotus in it, mullein, you know, like as the base, and passion flower in addition to the Amanita muscaria. And you're the guy to ask about why did I find that these work so well together. So first of all, what's so special about blue lotus?
Well, first off, I think why you found that is because it probably came to you as a connection, or as like, this is the right... Sometimes when it comes to formulating, if we come up with them and they almost are downloads, that might be part of it. But I would say that if you're looking for just the actual benefits of it, blue lotus, well, lotus and the whole idea of the lotus eaters and all about lotus is really from the transformational kind of Buddhist story of taking the dirt, the funk of life, and bringing it up into this clean, ethereal blossom. Lotus is connected to the third eye, and so lotus is about dream space. It's about opening up into the omnipresent world, so to speak, the more than just the present world, but getting into a little bit of sensory gating, shifting. It's not a true entheogen, but many people use it in entheogenic capacity. The real kind of beauty of lotus is, again, how I'll just rephrase it, is taking the funk in life and purifying it into the most beautiful form it can come into. And that's kind of where lotus sits in its medicine, and the whole idea of enlightenment. Lotus has a big part of that cleaning and scrubbing the dirt off of us.
That makes sense, because it feels like a lot of us that use Amanita, it's not just a party thing. Like, we are really using it for enlightenment to heal, and then for enlightenment, and then that, like,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
Mission has come out of that, which sounds to me like sharing the mushroom medicine.
And then the other is passion flower.
Well, something too about, like, maybe with people using Amanita, I can imagine that, so something I've been a big fan, or I've become more aware of, is that a lot of us suffer from a little bit of like entity attachment disorders, where we have kind of energetics and archetypes attached to us, or that we've attached to and allowed because they give us a safety cushion and a safety zone. They allow us to get into addiction. They allow us to go through some of these struggles, but buffer and almost null ourselves. So one of the reasons I would think that people would turn to Amanita is to help move away and strip away some of those safety blankets, comfortable, almost addictive pattern behaviors, you know, in a way. So lotus, perfect. Passion flower, well, you know, passion flower is a bit of an MAO inhibitor. So it actually starts to help the body not to break down the active compounds in the Amanita or in other entheogenic type herbs we might add in there, like the lotus in that sense. So passion flower has that. It's also calming for the mind. It's a great medicine for helping us sleep, but also relax our anxiety and tension. So when people are wound up too much, passion flower is the medicine. And this is another one that stems, you know, I know you may have read the mushroom and the cross, or you might have heard of some of this like connotations between, well, Christianity and Amanita. Well, passion flower has all of the archetypes of the cross on it as well. It's got the cross, the flower, the 13 disciples, the whole, like, the way that the whole thing is set up is another one of these, like, poof, almost enlightenment plants.
That's amazing. I didn't know any of this. When I was first putting the blends together, I was just putting them together and smoking them and thinking, well, that feels right. And when it gelled, you know, it sat correctly. And then it just took off, and the feedback is amazing. So now I know why.
And it's a smoking blend, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of, not a huge fan, but I love the understanding that our lungs are another delivery system for bringing active chemistry into our body. A lot of people have, you know, shunned on smoking based on how tobacco has really taken over our world in a more negative form. But actually, smoke mixes and that kind of connection has been a big part of my awareness, something I'm a big fan of too. So I like the lotus. I like the passion flower. I don't like how many little sticks and stems you get in the passion flower.
God,
You gotta pull them out if you want to roll it up nice.
Y'all wonder why it takes me so long to restock. Like, that's part
You're
of
pulling
it.
out sticks and
I know,
stems, right? Okay.
And then my base is mullein leaf, which I found because I had asthma and I couldn't get my doctor to get an inhaler.
Yep.
And I ran to the herbalist and they're like, oh, mullein. And
Yep.
I smoked it and it was, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I thought I need a good base that'll open up the lungs and make it go further, you know, a little less, you know, then it'll go further. And so I put that in as a base and it seems to be okay. Like,
Mulleins a great one. You know, just to kind of, I love this thing called doctrine of correspondence, which is how something corresponds in the landscape to how it shows up in its health benefits. So mullein grows in the most parched, dry, arid landscapes, in inflamed soils. And you get mullein in these dry locations. Well, it moistens and lubricates the lungs. It's actually has that same effect in the body as it does on the dry, parched landscape. It actually helps to soften and be a bit of a nitrogen fixer and support the rebuilding of the soils, but it's also just offering that back to the body. So it's got anti-inflammatory effects. It's good for moving mucus and catarrh out of the lungs, but really just calming down the heat. So adding mullein to a smoke blend calms the heat of smoking. Just like people might use a water bubbler, well, mullein is another way to kind of, in some ways, reduce that inflammatory effect of the smoke in the lungs and to help heal the lung tissue itself. So altogether, sounds like a good blend. Yeah. Willows, cattails, bulrushes, spirea.
I am really grateful that he took the time to do this. I learned a lot. I tell you that I made those smoke blends sort of intuitively, but now I know why. And I want to really thank you for educating us about this. Because you're like the go-to guy, especially your video on mullein. That was fantastic.
Mulling over mullein.
Yeah, it's great. So y'all should check him out. And he's the Herbal Jedi on YouTube. And if you would like to know more about the medicinal mushrooms, we also have a video on that on this channel. And if you want to know more about my channel and Amanita Dreamer, you can get involved on the community by going to amanitadreamer.net. Catch you later. Love you, beautiful people.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Wild Amanita mushrooms.
Catch you if you can.
We're cultivated connoisseurs of the moosh room. Okay, are you ready? You ready?
That's how we do